Welcome to season 3 of the Retail Tea Break podcast. My name is Melissa Moore, the Retail Advisor, and each week I'll be joined by industry experts, retailers, and product creators to decode the myths, share knowledge, and give you an insight into the industry. So grab your cup of tea, sit back, relax, and listen in to season 3 of the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Today, I'm really excited to be joined by a leading figure in Irish retail. As Chief Executive Officer of one of the country's most loved brands, they've 18 retail outlets, 5 restaurants, and an absolutely thriving e-commerce site. This is a business that doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon. Evelyn Moynihan, CEO of Kilkenny Design, welcome to the Retail Tea Break podcast.
Thanks, Melissa. Thanks for having me.
I'm delighted to be having this conversation. Huge fan of craft and design, obviously work a good bit with those in the industry. But as a retailer and as someone that loves what we do in this country, I'm thrilled that we're finally sitting down to have this conversation. It's going to be a good one. I know that. But look, before we get in the age-old tradition of the podcast, in the time that it takes to boil a kettle, which is about 2 minutes, tell us a bit about you and the brand.
So, Evelyn Moynihan is my name, as you gave me that lovely introduction, Melissa. And my background is in marketing. I worked for Diageo and I worked for Musgraves for a lot of my career. And then 3 years ago, I got the opportunity to move across to Kilkenny Design, which I was delighted to do as their marketing and business development director. And I'm currently in the CEO role and delighted to lead the team into the future. The business itself, as you described, we operate across retail, hospitality, and tourism. Our whole purpose is around championing Irish craft and design. That's what gets us out of bed in the morning. And that's what we're all about. We currently have about 74% of all we sell either Irish designed or made. And
Wow.
our mission is to get that to 80% over the next number of years. So we're hugely committed to mentoring and supporting Irish designers and craft makers.
It's incredible. It's a wonderful story. And I think it's something that's so loved by so many around the country. There's such famous stores in the towns and the cities that they're in. So it's great to see the growth there. So look, the last few years have been incredibly tough for retail, but you seem to be growing. Like you seem to have been powering through. I'm sure it hasn't all been rosy, but you seem to be coming out of the last few years on top. How's it been?
So look, it's been extremely challenging, like any business that operates in the sectors that we do. I would say hospitality in particular has been slower to recover than the retail side of our business. We've been doing quite well year to date on the back of tourism. So again, what's great for the country is that tourism has bounced back stronger than initially estimated. So I believe early doors, we were hearing figures of maybe jumping back to 50% levels of 2019. We've actually experienced about 75, 80% across the season. So that's been a massive driver of our recovery over the last number of months, which is great. In our retail shops, we have been investing as well. We're delighted to say we're going back into Kildare Village as a pop-up store. Anyone who hasn't been, make sure to visit. It's the most amazing experience. It's under Christmas by Kilkenny Design is the theme of that store, for example. But again, Kildare Village is a brilliant opportunity for Kilkenny Design to meet our existing customers, but also to meet a lot of new customers through that pop-up over the next number of months. And you mentioned it as well, we have a thriving online site. So we were lucky before COVID to be investing in our technology and in our website. And like that has absolutely transformed, Melissa, over the last number of years. It's over 500% growth since 2019. It's exploded.
Wow.
And for us, we see huge future growth in both domestic online, but also in international websites as well. And I might talk a bit more about that in a while.
That sounds incredible. And I love the way that the brand and as retailers, you're now across all these different sectors. So not only the physical, but the pop-up there in Kildare Village. And I believe you've got this fabulous little snow globe hut that people can go into, pick out a snow globe. And I believe they can even have that experience of having it engraved, which is just gorgeous. And it gives that extra dimension to your retail settings as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually that whole area of personalization, we see it growing and growing. I think there's a kind of a real surge in sentimentality as well, and people being able to, leave a key message, to a loved one or a friend through the gifting selection. And that's really important. So that snow globe concept is absolutely gorgeous. As you said, there's a beautiful snow globe hut set up in Kildare Village, but we're looking to tour that around the country as well in our other stores as well between now and Christmas. Because that's what people are looking for. They're looking for personalized gifts. They're looking for gifts that last, actually, and made to last. So that whole topic of sustainability is really coming to the fore. And look, as a brand, Kilkenny Design are naturally set up to drive that message as well, Melissa. The fact that we are locally sourced and locally produced and locally made. That whole sentiment, I think, is becoming more and more important to customers as well. And will be as we go forward.
That's lovely to hear as well, that it's part of your ethos now, it's core value. And it's great then to hear, in the run up to Christmas, that everyone can have that little piece, that little personalization, and a bit of fun as well, which I think Kilkenny have always been so good at. How else then has the company evolved over the last few years? I suppose we've talked about this expansion in some respects of the physical store. We know how good you're online. What else have you been doing?
So to take a step back, we've invested a lot behind the scenes as well. So I suppose for any retail business who have plans to grow, it's really important that we have the right supply chain and warehousing set up, if you like, to support that level of growth that we have ambition for. So we've invested a lot in our space in the warehouse, maximizing that, driving efficiencies through our supply chain, putting in new technology as well to support the delivery to the customer, be it through the retail shops, as you said, be it the pop-up in Kildare, or through our online sites, whether we're sending a package to Cong and Mayo, or whether we're sending a package all the way to New York or Dubai. So a lot of work, Melissa, in the background has gone into our supply chain and setting ourselves up for success. We're investing a lot in our people. So that's a huge passion of our company, really, is to invest in our people. Our people are the magic behind the brand. And they are what delivers that amazing experience when you come into any of our shops all over the country, or whether you ring up our customer service. And we'd like to think, no matter what interaction you have with our brand, we're always thinking about the customer first and how we can look after people and come up with solutions for people. And as you say, shopping is fun. Shopping is an activity that should bring joy. And it's really important to us that in all our interactions with customers, that we are bringing that joy and we're bringing that fabulous sense of customer experience. So we're investing a lot in our training and development of our people. We're actually spending a lot of time at the moment, Melissa, talking about our culture and our values of our company, and what we stand for and how we treat people. And yeah, I suppose it's very simple, really. How you would expect to be treated is how we really want to treat others. And that for me is kind of the magic dust really behind the brand and behind the business. It's a family, owned company, as you know, Melissa, and there's lovely family values that for me, my job is to really nurture those and to bring those forward as well. Because when you work for Kilkenny, it does feel different. It's not a big corporate. There's not loads of layers. We're very committed, we're very determined, we're ambitious, we get stuck in, but we work as a team, and that's very important as well. So we're spending a lot of time on the people side, which I feel will come through that beautiful experience that people have come to grow and love with the Kilkenny brand.
And I genuinely, as a consumer, even feel that magic. I think there's something a little different. And I read recently as well that you've said, it's not enough for just to be met by someone that says hello or smiles at you. Like, that should be a given in retail, that people are polite and welcoming. But you really push that, and maybe push is the wrong word, but you really emphasize that with your teams in Kilkenny Design.
Yeah, like, it's hugely important. I suppose there's so much expertise and knowledge amongst our people. Like, they're with customers every day of the week. Like, we were talking to a supplier this morning and they spoke about the benefit that retailers have. Like, we're in touch with people day in, day out. Some of us are nearly like psychologists where, we understand how a person's day is going. We step into their shoes. We really empathize on how a day can go wrong for a person or how a day can go right for a person. And to really bring that kind of knowledge and experience to the customer is key. So for example, at Christmas time, you might have, a gentleman come in late doing the shopping, doesn't know where to start, has the list. Like, we can help. We have helped so many people day in, day out choose the perfect gift, depending on what, their friend or family member is interested in, or depending what they love. And it's really, I suppose, sharing that knowledge and helping that purchase, for me, is what people love about Kilkenny Design, but also doing it in a meaningful way. Melissa, you'll have other shoppers who know exactly what they want, and they're in and they're out, and they want efficiency and speed. It's important for our people to pick up on that as well, and just help that person get through the purchase then as quickly and as efficiently as possible. So it's really meeting the needs of the individual and being able to kind of tailor depending on what the person is looking for. That's really important.
And it definitely seems that way, because it almost feels like a personal shopping service when you go into store. And I'm sure, as you say, even when you call up, that the team are so highly trained. And I think I'm laboring on this point because, you know what, it's not the same everywhere at the moment. Unfortunately, there aren't too many teams out there or retailers that have invested the time and the money and have understood the importance of training their team, but also, and to pick up on your point, of really understanding the values that the brand is built on. And you seem to have done that incredibly well.
Yeah, and we'll continue to do it. And I think we can never be, shy on it. It's really important we keep it to the fore all the time. So we have a whole program around customer experience that we're developing and training our people. And there's a group of people who are on those teams, if you like, and they meet regularly. And depending on if there's an opportunity for new growth, or there's an issue or a challenge coming up in one of our, channels, that we put that question to these people, and they know the customer so well, and they come up with solutions, and then we follow through, we implement, if you like. So for us, that's going to be a massive part of our future growth, continuing to develop people, bringing in new talent that can add further to the experience, but also really championing and developing our existing teams. And we're lucky, Melissa, we have huge loyalty with our people. And I think that's key as well. We've got people who are on a journey with us 20 years, 30 years, 15 years, and who are continuing to grow and evolve with the company and bring so much week in, week out. And that's very important for us, I suppose, to recognise our colleagues, but to keep developing and to keep investing in people. And yes, retail is changing, and there's lots and more choice out there for customers. And it's really important, I think, for any retailer out there that, all your channels are available to customers, and it's easy and it's simple to engage with. But they're also that it's seamless as well. So we find a lot of customers might go online and do the homework, and then they'll come in store to touch and feel the product. Interestingly, we have it working the other way as well, where people are in to do their recce, but they actually want it delivered to their home. So it's really understanding all that level of change, but equally comes down to having the right product at the right time for the customer, and making it as easy as possible. And as you say, making it as fun as possible as well. Retail should bring joy, and that's a really important message as well.
That's wonderful. And I love the fact that you've alluded there to the fact that, a few years ago, we were all getting quite used to kind of doing our research at home on our phones, on our laptops, going into store and seeing and touching and feeling. But actually, over the last 12 months, we flipped that, as you say. People are out and about again. They're physically shopping, but we're not all, we don't all fancy traipsing around with bags of shopping or stuff, especially if we've got kids or buggies or whatever it might be. It is now getting dropped to home. In the mix of all that, how have you worked tech into that, or what else have you done to try and innovate?
Yeah, so innovation is a huge agenda for Kilkenny. So we have a couple of great examples. One is iPads in our shops. So we've highlighted this initiative over the last number of months in 5 of our stores. So we're calling it store to door. So like you described, that mom with the buggy, or the young girls who are out shopping and they're going for dinner after their shopping experience and a few drinks, they make their purchases, but they'd like it delivered to home. So very simply, there's iPads available in a number of our stores where the customer can, with the staff, with the colleague, log on, get access to the full range, and then decide, I want 4 of those sent home, please. And I'd like them sent home over the next 1 to 2 days. And that's the type of I suppose service now that we're implementing and piloting. And for us, it's important to get it right, to finesse it, to make sure we have the right positioning on it and it's the right offer, and look, with the intention then that we'll roll it around to more of our stores. But that's definitely something that people want. And again, you'll visit some of our smaller Kilkenny design stores. Like, for example, we have a beautiful store in Trim in County Meath, and you'll see a selection of our range in that space, but now you'll get access to the full range behind the scenes. And I do think that's an example of where the future retail is going, where you can still get the full access, but you still want that experience of the edit, if you like, walking and feeling and touching the product, seeing what's on offer. And then if you need more, or you'd like to see more choices or varieties, that's available to you as well. So that's one example, which is amazing. A second one, which we're very proud of, is we have a virtual reality store. Now, again, I'm not sure many retailers can say this, but we've been working in the background over the last 18 months, 2 years, literally on developing a virtual store based on our Nassau Street store, which is our flagship store in Dublin. And literally you can log on to our website on your desktop, click on the VR store, and literally tour around the whole store, see everything that's available in the store, and click all the way through to buying the item. So again, we're super excited about this. For me, this is a fabulous kind of virtual experience that you can get from your couch, from your seat. But also, I think it's a fabulous one for our visitors to the country as well, where they do come to Ireland, they do love to shop, they do fall in love with Kilkenny design. And then when they get home to New York or Dubai or wherever they've come from, they can in the future as well log on, tour around our stores, and keep shopping with us and keep the relationship with the Irish design and craft makers that they fell in love with. So we're super excited about that initiative as well. So there are maybe 2 examples, Melissa, that is going to help bring Kilkenny design forward over the next couple of years.
That's incredibly innovative. We've seen very high-end luxury, so I'm talking the big luxe brands with lots of money behind them, have gone down this road. How scary was it to make the decision to go there and to do it for, as you said yourself, you're an Irish brand, small enough, family owned, everything about it seems very small, but this is massive in the grand scale of retail. Having your own store, that's virtual, is huge news.
I suppose the e-commerce investment was a no-brainer, really. Seeing the growth over the years. I mentioned earlier how we recently launched a new site into the UK and the US, and that's already reaping its rewards, Melissa. There's such a massive market out there for Irish design and craft, and as champions of Irish craft and design, we have to be to the forefront. So I suppose for us that was a no-brainer, and has been a no-brainer over the last couple of years. Making a leap on something like virtual reality, yes, that's a big leap, but we were very lucky. We had Enterprise Ireland investment behind that initiative, and we're really grateful for that, to help develop that and to bring that to market. So again, my advice to other retailers or makers is to see what's available out there, what funding is available. Like you said, we are a family business, we are a smaller business, so it is about looking at what funding, what investment is out there that you feel would benefit your business, but then being committed to it, Melissa, because we did put the right resource, we did put the right people behind these projects to make them happen. And that's really important as well, that you show that commitment and you follow through. But we're super excited about those initiatives that I just described.
It sounds incredible, and actually very honest of you to say that there was help and support involved there, because again, I think unless you're a very, very small retailer or a small independent, I think everyone above that just presumes that you're out there, you're on your own. Good luck if it works, hard luck if it doesn't. But it's actually quite comforting to know that such a big brand in that respect has gone and got support, but actually are reaping rewards. And also, as you said, for visitors from outside the country to see that this Irish brand has put their best foot forward, I think it says a lot about Irish retail right now.
Yeah, and that's important. I do think that it's important that Irish retail has leadership and that we have to innovate, we have to step forward. Like retailers or brands that feel, oh, my current experience is enough, and it's all about pulling back on costs and saving and cutting, like that is not good. It's really important that, yes, people, and we're doing a lot of work, Melissa, on managing our costs and looking for efficiencies and all of that good stuff. Every business has to, but at the same time, we're maintaining investment in the areas that we know will be there for future growth. And it is a tough balancing act. It's not easy, but for us, that's really important that we're keeping, I suppose, both sides of it at top of our agenda. So it is about efficiencies, it's cost management, it's reviewing margins, all of that good stuff like any retailer needs to do. But then equally, it's about, backing the areas that will bring the future growth and future investment. Because my concern is any retailer who is all about pulling back and all about cost, like that's not good for the future. And if another key message, I suppose, for me is that Irish consumers were brilliant to support Irish businesses during lockdown. I think we saw a level of support that we never ever felt. I know we certainly felt it in Kilkenny Design, but actually now more than ever, with all the government supports, a lot of it, being pulled or no longer there, it's so critical that Irish people come out now and support Irish businesses and small businesses, or they won't be there for the future. And that's not like a throwaway comment, that's just extremely real now. And I just think the next couple of months, and actually as we trade Q4, business no doubt will get vibrant and buoyant into Q4, but it's actually into Q1, Q2, I think, which is going to be the scariest time for our high streets, for our local towns, our local villages. We have to come out and support local.
I 100% agree with that. I am fearful for the beginning of next year, but we are lucky enough now in a couple of weeks to be speaking to some of your team and also some of the team behind Champion Green. And we're going to delve into this a bit more because I think, as you said, this was so well supported. The Shop Local hashtag, everybody, it doesn't matter what age, everybody knew about this Shop Local drive that we had during lockdowns. But I think the fear now, and it is tough times for many people out there with this cost of living crisis, the fear is it may not be high on the agenda, understandably for some, but there's got to be ways and means that we can still support local. So definitely in a couple of weeks, we're going to have a whole episode dedicated to this, because again, buying Irish, shopping local is so important. And I suppose on that, lots of Irish makers, designers listening to this podcast, as we know. You, as you said, over 70% of what's sold in Kilkenny Design is Irish made, it's Irish designed. You are genuinely, you seem so proud to support this Irish message. What's that like for you, I suppose, to see the evolution of what's being sold, but also the love and support that is out there for Irish designers?
Look, it's amazing. I mentioned earlier, that's our purpose in Kilkenny Design, to really mentor and support and back Irish creativity. Like, since I joined the company, I love hearing the history behind the story and behind the brand. And Kilkenny Design started when the government, wanted to mentor and upskill makers and designers in the grounds of Kilkenny Castle going back 60 years ago. And then once the mentors were getting the supports and the skills, they were like, well, everyone wants to buy the stuff, how are we going to sell it? And that's where the first shop was born out of. And then the second shop obviously popped up in Nassau Street in Dublin. But my point of telling that story is that ethos and that purpose going back all along, day one, has always been about mentoring and supporting and championing. And what's brilliant, Melissa, is that is our ethos now, and it is what's going to drive us going forward. But our new ambition is we want to bring that global now. It's not just about Irish and how we get on with the domestic market and championing it at home. like our ambition is to champion that globally for Irish designers and craft makers. And like that's very empowering for us as a team and for us as a business. We're super proud of it. Like through Champion Green, we're doing a lot of research with economists about what it means to support local and shop local. And very simply, for every euro that's spent in a local business, it circulates €2.50 in the community. Like there's a lot of talk this week about Amazon Prime and doing an extra 2 days, and doubling up their efforts, And like I'm sitting back here going, like for every euro that's spent in a small and local business, an Irish business, it circulates €2.50. If that is spent and it leaves the country, it's gone. Yeah. And like this is what it means around vibrant communities, vibrant jobs, local vibrancy for our families and our neighbours and our friends. Like that's what it comes down to. So for us, it's very important, and like it's a no-brainer. But obviously, we're close to it. We're working with our suppliers and makers day in, day out. Like we talk all the time with them about growing costs and growing challenges, but equally we hear the innovation that's coming through. You were admiring my earrings earlier, which is from a jeweler called Crystal and Co. that we started to work with, 2 young ladies starting up their business in Dublin. There's huge innovation, there's huge creativity, there's massive flair, and for us, there's so much positive there. We just really need to keep getting behind it and driving it, and helping those out, who maybe have lost their way a bit or have been relying on what's sold the last 10 years isn't going to bring them forward. It's working at that level as well.
But also it's that story, as you say, so exactly who made those earrings you're wearing, where they're based in Ireland. And again, like with so many of your brands, these are real people who are really hands-on with the making process. And I think that's the key message sometimes, is this stuff isn't shipped in from a far foreign land that's mass produced. It is lovingly put together. It's lovingly made. A lot of them hand deliver into your stores. And then, of course, your colleagues are so highly trained in selling and telling that story. The cycle just goes on. And I think sometimes people forget, when you buy Irish, when you shop local, it is really a person at the end of that, as they say, who does a happy dance, because it is a real person. And I think, again, as you said, this matters, that if we support Irish, we buy local, it is the people that in your local communities, in your local area, that are going to reap the rewards.
Absolutely, yeah. And there's families, and there's local community groups being sponsored by these people. There's employees and colleagues that live in their local communities, and we see it in our own business as well. There's real people behind this. So again, our job definitely is to help lead the way, help push the agenda, push for innovation, keep investing in the customer experience, and working very closely then with the suppliers and makers to maximise their sales and maximise their business, but then equally have very happy Irish customers, and the diaspora all over the globe as well, very happy customers who are thrilled, as you say, to get a beautiful piece of Irish design and craft into their homes, and even to be able to gift that. There's huge currency with that as well, opposite family and friends. So it is that kind of cycle, I suppose, Melissa, and helping drive that and do the best we can every day is going to kind of help this agenda as well.
It's great to hear it's going global now as well, that this global movement is going to start to build. Well, look, final question, and I know we've already mentioned, and we can mention it again, the great pop-up for Christmas in Kildare Village, but what else is coming up for you and Kilkenny Design over the next few months?
So we have a very exciting calendar of events between now and, the new year. So different events to celebrate, the run up to Christmas, and also Green Friday, which we've coined, again, to encourage people, instead of shopping online with foreign sites, maybe to support, local during those key trading days. Christmas and gifting is huge for us, Melissa. So Q4 is always our biggest time. So again, it's about maximising our stores and our website. We are the home of Irish gifting. We have the most amazing gifts up on our site and in our stores from now. And I do think there's a sense from people that they're starting to plan early.
Yeah.
Of course, people are feeling the pinch and it's very important to us that we help that along the way, and that we have everything available from now on if people do want to start to tip away and start to take the pressure off and kind of gear up for Christmas. We're continuing to do a lot of investment in our technology. So that VR store that I mentioned earlier, the iPads in our shops, and click and collect is another service that we're investing in the coming months. And then we're also doing a lot of work with our suppliers and our buyers around our range. And we have categories, Melissa, like wellness and Irish skincare that's exploding. And we're going to continue to kind of invest in areas like that. The homeware is another one, or home in general. People are investing in their homes like it's their wardrobe.
Yeah.
And literally, I think we've all had it during lockdowns of staring at the walls and thinking, God, I could do with doing this room up next. I know I'm certainly one of those. So again, just having the right ranges, the right products, and bringing inspiration to people to help them do that over the kind of coming weeks and months is really important to us, along with all our new fashion wear and our accessories, and all of that good stuff. But home and wellness are probably two trends that I would pull out that I think are very important for the customer at the moment.
The perfect gift, you know what I mean? And I must say, the perfect self gift as well. I think it's always lovely to go into Kilkenny Design, and yes, you might be getting something, a gift for mother or a birthday or Christmas, but actually, as we've spotted with those earrings I've been looking at for the last half hour, it's a really wonderful opportunity to spend a little time and look for something for yourself as well, because the categories are phenomenal at this stage. As you said, everything from fashion to homewares to jewelry to wellness, which I know has been a new category recently, but everything there for the gifting season.
Yeah, no, big time. And look, again, we want to bring joy and fun to that as well. So when people do land into any of our 18 stores, they're enjoying the trip around it, they're enjoying the experience of it, the merchandising of the product. Obviously, we have our 5 restaurants as well, so we're investing in our food as well, so that when people do land to Shanagarry or Cove or Dublin or Nassau Street or Kilkenny City, that they can enjoy, you know, the whole experience of the browsing and the shopping, as well as, you know, the lovely cup of coffee and the scone and the chat. You know, that's very important to us as well, that we're bringing that kind of whole experience to life, as people come and enjoy what we do.
Oh, it's an incredible retail experience, and very proudly an incredible Irish retail experience. Evelyn Moynihan, thank you so much for this chat. We definitely could have talked all day, but it's wonderful to see such an incredible Irish brand growing and growing and really lifting the bar, I think, within the industry here. So if you've enjoyed today's podcast, please like and share this episode. Let us know what you think. I'm sure many of you are keen shoppers of Kilkenny Design. Evelyn Moynihan, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks, Melissa.